We can all agree that all eyes are on Pennsylvania this election cycle. And when Pennsylvanians turn on the TV this weekend, this is what they're going to see.
Philly Tough is different. They insult us.
Bad things happen in Philadelphia. Bad things.
They don't like us. We don't care. Because here's the thing that people like Donald Trump don't understand. We're Philly. F***ing Philly. And when you fight us, we fight back. From 1776 to 4th and 26th. So go ahead. Talk whatever you want, Donald. We're voting soon. And when it comes to freedom, Philly's undefeated.
If you think the folks in the biggest city, in the most important swing state of this election, are going to applaud Donald Trump shitting on where they live in an ad airing during an Eagles game, you don't know Philadelphia and you don't know Pennsylvania. You see, the problem with Trump's dystopian messaging is that people in Philadelphia actually like Philadelphia, and that Trump's messaging is wholly predicated on him trying to convince us that our lives are terrible, our cities are terrible, our country where we live is terrible, and that the only way it'll be good again is if he's president. Only he can fix it. The guy literally called America a garbage can.
Like a garbage can. We're like a garbage can. First time I said it was last night. Gave a speech in Las Vegas. 29,000 people. It was an arena. We set the arena record. That was a big deal arena, too. We set the record, but it was an amazing crowd. The first time I ever said it. I said it, I don't know, it just came out, garbage can. We're like a garbage can for the rest of the world to dump the people that they don't want.
Of course, the practical effect of his messaging is simply that he hates this country, and that's a point that Tim Walz was quick to point out here.
All right, one final thing on this. Every day, this guy is something else as he descends into this madness that he's going on. Trump's now been going around on the campaign trail calling America the garbage can of the world. A direct quote. This country that so many died protecting, that is the beacon of the world on democracy and human rights, he calls it the garbage can of the world. That is so pathetic and unpatriotic that it's almost unbelievable. So look, he is literally trash talking this country now, every single day. So it doesn't get simpler. And let's start naming it where it is. Donald Trump hates this country, and everything he does is for Donald Trump. So just say it. His words. Let me give Kamala Harris's words. She believes America is the greatest country on earth, and it's that simple.
But it's a hell of a lot better to be joyful than to be angry and terrible like they're doing on the other side. So we are not a hateful country. We are not a divisive country. We care about our neighbors. We lift those up in a time of need, and we know that we are better than they're telling us. He goes across this country and tells us how bad our cities are, how bad places are, how bad states are. He has no solutions because he wants to run on the problems.
And this isn't the only time that Trump's dystopian messaging has come back to bite him. Remember what he said just weeks ago about Detroit in Detroit.
2%. They should be much higher than that, but that's up for whoever is going to be the next president. I think Kamala, it's not going to be high on her list. I don't think anything that we're talking about today is high on her list. The whole country is going to be like, you want to know the truth? It'll be like Detroit. Our whole country will end up being like Detroit if she's your president. You're going to have a mess on your hands. She destroyed San Francisco. She destroyed, along with Newsom, California. And we're not going to let her do that to this country. We're not going to let it happen.
Which, of course, led to this ad being aired in Michigan during the Detroit Tigers baseball playoff game and the Detroit Lions football game.
They said we were dead.
Detroit waving the white flag, the city filing for bankruptcy.
That our best days were behind us. That living here is like
Living in hell.
But you know what we said? We said, F that. We rebuilt ourselves. We looked out for each other, got our hands dirty, and put in the hard work. And this guy, he don't know anything about that. We are a city of winners, of up-and-comers, of builders, the Motor City. Bigger and better. Here, we believe in freedom. We don't bow down to nobody, and we never will. And so what Donald Trump doesn't understand, or care to learn is that when he said
Our whole country will end up being like Detroit if she's your president.
that he should be so goddamn lucky.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
Again, like Pennsylvania, Michigan's a swing state, and Detroit is the biggest city in that swing state. It's also a city where Joe Biden took home a staggering 94% of the vote in 2020 on his way to win that battleground state. And on top of that, Detroit currently has the highest absentee ballot return rate in Michigan. In other words, not only is Trump trashing the biggest city in this key state, not only did his stupid comments immediately become an ad that would air against him during the biggest broadcast that Michiganders would be watching, but that city turns out to vote, and it turns out hard. And something tells me that Donald Trump isn't exactly activating swing voters by telling them that where they live sucks. But the sad reality is that he is fully cognizant of the fact that he's insulting the biggest city in the most important battleground states. It's just that he's got so much oozing contempt for his own fans that he's perfectly content shitting on these people and their city right to their faces because he's just that certain that his supporters will sacrifice every shred of their dignity in their blind deference they pay to the cult leader. We keep hearing how Trump supporters are these alphas, how finally men who aren't afraid to be men are back, and yet these people sit there while Trump makes a fool of them, of their city, of their state, and only after they've been summarily humiliated and infantilized do they walk out thinking that they're the tough guys. I have seen bowls of jello with more of a spine than these Trump supporters. The fact is that if this is the way Trump acts with about a week to go until Election Day, if he is this incapable of discipline now, when it matters most, when the eyes of the nation are on him, just imagine how he'll act when he's unencumbered by the prospect of another election, when he never again has to face the voters. I mean, think about it. This is him on his best behavior. This is his final pitch to the voters. And if that includes shitting on Philly, shitting on Detroit, when he has to win Pennsylvania, has to win Michigan, that should serve as a blinking red light about what to expect if this guy gets anywhere near the Oval Office. He's already broadcasting who he'll punish if he becomes president. So if you live in Philadelphia, if you live in Detroit, if you live in any major city in this country, and more importantly, if you care about your fellow Americans and don't believe that they should be targeted because of where they live, which by the way, in terms of cities, also includes Trump supporters, then do the right thing in this election. So this is the warning. We know what to expect with Donald Trump, someone who shows nothing but disdain for the very people he purports to want to serve. His actual agenda is to drive us full tilt into autocracy. Do not let him get away with it. If you can vote by mail today, do it. If you can vote early today, do it. If you don't have a plan for Election Day, make one. We are a week out. Make sure you can look back on today and know that you left it all out on the field. Before you go, just a quick note, if you'd like to see more of my content, which is always free of advertising, sponsorships, and paywalls, please make sure to subscribe to this channel using the subscribe button right here on this screen. And if you'd like to support my work even further, you can grab a copy of my instant #1 New York Times selling book, Shameless, available for sale right now. That link is also on this screen. Thanks so much for watching.